Hello, my name is Kelly O'Neill. Mindy Bryant and I have chosen Dorothea Orem's self-care model, and we will be presenting that to you today. During this presentation, you will learn more about Dorothea Orem's background, Mindy and I's origin of interest. We'll review Dorothea Orem's self-care model, discuss relevance to the nursing practice, as well as limitations, and then address the future directions for use in nursing practice. To begin, we will review Dorothea Orem's background and Mindy and I's origin of interest. Miss Orem, a Baltimore native born in 1914, earned a nursing diploma and a BS in nursing in the 1930s. In 1945, Miss Orem earned a MS in nursing education and first published her concept of self-care in 1959. From 1959 to 1970, Miss Orem held a variety of professional roles at Washington, D.C.'s Catholic University, including Dean of the School of Nursing. Later, Miss Orem served as a curriculum consultant to universities such as Johns Hopkins, associations, and government agencies such as the United States Department of Health. Miss Orem published Nursing Concepts of Practice in 1971. This publication outlined her self-care nursing theory and is now in its sixth edition. This publication firmly established Miss Orem as a leader in nursing education and nursing practice. Mindy and I were originally interested in Dorothea Orem's self-care model because it is considered significant and a major contribution to nursing education and the profession of nursing. Once we really researched the theory, our interest deepened when we discovered Miss Orem's theory is used in a variety of settings, including clinical settings. We also found the self-care model to be very interesting because we discovered that the theory is patient-focused and promotes recovery and healing. Next, we will review Miss Orem's self-care model. In 1959, Dorothea Orem first published her concept of self-care. In that initial publication, Dorothea Orem outlined the origins for her self-care theory by writing that nursing is perhaps best described as the giving of direct assistance to a person as required because of the person's specific abilities in self-care resulting from a situation of personal health. We really like this quote from Dorothea Orem because it focuses on abilities rather than limitations. Dorothea Orem's self-care model consists of three interrelated theories: the theory of self-care, the theory of self-care deficit, and the theory of nursing system. The first component of Dorothea Orem's self-care model is her theory of self-care. Self-care evaluation begins with a nursing assessment to identify activities that the patient initiates and performs independently to maintain life, health, and well-being. Next, the nurse assesses the patient's ability to engage in self-care, taking age, gender, environmental factors, and others into account. Next, self-care requisites, which are also known as activities of daily living, are assessed in relation to universal, developmental, and health deviation requirements. Finally, the need for therapeutic self-care is assessed. This evaluates total care activities needed to meet the individual's self-care needs at the moment or even over a period of time. The second component of Dorothea Orem's self-care model is the theory of self-care deficit. During this phase, the nurse confirms the needs and limitations of the patient. Once the needs and limitations are confirmed, the nurse begins to consider implementing Orem's 5 methods of helping. The 5 methods of helping include acting and doing for others, guiding, physical and psychological support, promotion of a person's development to meet future demands, and teaching. The third And final component of Orem's self-care model is the theory of nursing systems. Orem's theory of nursing systems outlines how the patient's self-care needs will be met by the nurse, the patient, or both. Orem identified 3 classifications of nursing system to meet the self-care requisites of the patient: the wholly compensatory system, the partly compensatory system, and the supportive or educative system. Patients needing the wholly compensatory system have the most limitations and need complete care. Patients needing the partly compensatory system have some limitations but are able to perform some requisites independently. Patients requiring the supportive/educative system are independent and simply need education to further promote self-care. Next, we will discuss the relevance of Ms. Orem's self-care model to the practice of nursing and cover limitations. Orem's theory of self-care is relevant in an outpatient spinal surgery clinic, like the one where Mindy works. Patients at the outpatient clinic will be undergoing spinal surgery, and it's Mindy's responsibility to assess the patient prior to surgery and ensure that they understand the procedure and the recovery. Orem's theory of self-care is relevant to Mindy's assessment, as Mindy will be determining self-care activities, self-care ability, and self-care requisites. Limitations following surgery are to be expected, and Orem's theory of self-care deficit is relevant to such limitations. To address these limitations, Mindy will develop a plan of education for the patient to meet their individual needs and establish post-operative assistance as needed, which is a component of Orem's 5 methods of helping within her theory of self-care deficit. Mindy will then use Orem's theory of nursing system to implement compensatory or supportive care post-surgery to address the patient's self-care needs. While Dorothea Orem's self-care model is comprehensive, it does have its limitations. For instance, the self-care requisites are physical, and the emotional needs of the patient are not assessed. Additionally, Orem's theory is illness-oriented, which makes it less applicable in certain settings. Next, we'll discuss the future directions for use in nursing practice. To resolve the limitations of Orem's self-care model, the self-care theory should be expanded to include the assessment of emotional limitations and needs. Including emotional assessments in the future would result in a more holistic assessment. In 1991, the International Orem Society was founded. Supporting the Orem International Society in the future encourages future research, funds future nursing education, and promotes future development of Ms. Orem's theories of nursing. Thank you very much for viewing our presentation. We look forward to hearing from you.